Welcome back, everybody. Sive is here with the ForexPeaceArmy.com. Let's take a look again on Bitcoin market. So here the situation stands a bit complex because we know that the liquidity start coming in the markets. This is actually Fed started some kind of the quantitative easing. This week also will not be next as exclusion, so it's another approximately 7 billion should come on the market as well. And you can see that the Bitcoin start feeling some support. So I can't say that situation has changed drastically here. Overall upward action still remains weak, and especially if you take a look at the daily chart, it raises a lot of questions. So how reliable is performance? But on intraday charts, if we would like to, we could find some bullish signs that, well, if you have really strong desire to take the trade on the Bitcoin, you could try to use it. This week probably will be relatively thin of liquidity, just because we're coming to the Christmas and activity probably will be lower. But since another part of the money should come in the market from the Fed, that might support market on the thin market and actually support Bitcoin on the thin market and actually could let it to climb slightly higher. Currently, based on the daily chart, I would consider a couple of patterns. First of all, I just take it off for a moment. In fact, we do not need it anymore. It's just because this pattern already has been broken down. First pattern, as you can see here, if everything will keep going well, you could see that potential market still could try to complete our target around 97, or based on the initial ABCD that we were considered previously 96.40, 97.20, so it's approximately in the same area around the conference resistance. But on the opposite side, we could get absolutely different stuff if market still will be too weak to keep going higher. So the Fed liquidity might provide some support and it could climb somewhere to the 91, maybe slightly higher, but then situation could change back and start dropping down. So both patterns still valid, because at this point, with this type of action that we see here, it can't just promise you that we are standing with the upward action. We don't have any thrusting signs or something like this. This looks very choppy and gradual, which actually perfect for retracement kind of action. That's why we can't take off this butterfly right now, so it remains on the table. On the lower time frames, I think what we could do, we could try to start with some minor stuff that's going on lower time frames and then make a decision when the market appears around 91. So for instance, if you take a look at the 4 time frame chart, you could see that market stands on the eve of the possible upper breakout of our flag consolidation. So, which seems was an attempt to just reverse the current situation. And on the hourly chart, that might be either used to be as a kind of the ABCD pattern to the upside. It also might be the butterfly shape. Whatever it will be, the target will be approximately in the same area. So it will be somewhere around starting from the 1975 up to 91.75, where we have the OP. But the really big credit, we probably could try to identify here the head and shoulders, but it seems a bit with a very skewed shape, so it's very difficult to say that it's definitely hand shoulders. Although if you would like to, you could of course think about it as a hand shoulders, although it actually makes no difference with the targets. Obviously, the validation point for the setup will be below the C point. So if you'd like to take the part with it, your stop has to be below this area, because if market will break it down, start reversing, it will return back in the flag, and it will be not a really good sign, at least for current short-term setup. If everything will go as we suggested, this will be okay. Fed will provide liquidity later this week, as we could get this area around to the, in general, on average somewhere to the 91. And that will be very important point for Bitcoin on the next stage, just because of this pattern that we have on the daily chart. Here, around 91, 91.50, we will see what is going on and what to expect. But for now, maybe it will be enough support for Bitcoin this week and it will be able to climb slightly higher. That's the general idea that we have for now.